You are now listening to the Q&E podcast.
Is this what you want? Huh? Is this what you want? Well, come and get it, goddammit!
What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Q&E podcast. You're here with your boy Q Hicks right now. I got Edgar on the other line. Edgar, tell the people what's good.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Q&E podcast. Today, we are reviewing Invincible, episode 5, and this one was titled That Actually Hurt. And we see how that came to fruition at the end of the episode. Boy, it did more than hurt.
Got his ass beat, boy.
It hurt me. It hurt me.
That
so
shit
I
did,
definitely, I agree with the title. That actually hurt.
Man, what hurt me the most is watching that nigga Omni, man, see his son get beat and he does absolutely nothing, my nigga. I don't care what your agenda is and what your plan is. I am not the type of nigga that's just gonna sit there and watch their son get hurt just to prove a fucking point. Like, I just can't do that, bro. I can't. So to see Omni, man, watch his son get his ass beat, fly off like ain't shit happened, I was hot as fuck. I don't care about the reasoning.
But yeah, I agree to a certain extent. I get what he was trying to do with proving a point and stuff, and we'll dive into that once we get to that part of the episode. But I do agree with you. It's like, okay, you proved your point, but slide in, you know. But I get what he was trying to do.
I understand it because we talked about it before, but it's just the fact that you let it go too far. Like, Mark was getting his ass beat the whole that whole end scene. He was getting his ass beat. You could have pushed it up to a point. It's like, okay, now let me jump in. Like, he's getting his ass kicked for real. Like, this nigga's down for the count. Like, now you can come in and save him, but he never even came in to save my nigga. It's like, bro, that's some crazy shit, bro. Just to watch your son get beat and you just, I like, yeah, this nigga Omni, man, a op, my nigga. He a op for sure.
But that leads us to the biggest plot points of this episode. And the first one is, one, Mark finds out the hard way that you can't trust anybody. And we see that come into play around the end of the episode within the last 10-15 minutes.
The black man with the double cross.
And then plot point number 2, Debbie is an inch away from the truth. We've seen for the past 2 episodes now, her suspicions have been growing and she's getting all the evidence that she needs now. And I feel like this next episode, she's definitely going to probably confront Omni-Man. And then the third big plot point, the amount of top tier villains are endless in this episode.
And I said it before about the Guardians of the Globe, how they're like biting off the DC universe with the Justice League and shit like that. They did the same thing with what his name was, Machine Head or some shit like that. The same villain who was in Harley Quinn and her movie that came out. I think what his name was, Black Mask or some shit like that. I think that's who they were trying to bite off, but he was way more enhanced. With this helmet and shit, you got to put a chip in his head. He was way more advanced, but I think that's who they were trying to bite off with the villain that we see in this episode.
Because all the villains that they've been showing so far have been like top notch. I don't see any villains that you could just look at and be like, snub my nose at them or whatever. Like, no, every villain that we are seeing.
The one that came back 3 times, I was like, the ones that came back 3 times.
Other than them, they're the only.
They came back 3 times. They got their ass 3 times and left in literally 5 minutes.
They're the only exception. Everybody else has stayed this entire time and are playing a huge part. And you notice all these villains are except the last one that we seen, they're all intertwined with each other to a certain extent. So I love the fact that everybody is going to continue to move forward, and I don't think anybody is going to get killed off easily.
Is that villain that they fought at Mount Rushmore going to be intertwined? I don't think I've seen him again.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if he's really going to be intertwined like that. So I'm real interested to see how all the villains are going to play a part moving forward.
Yeah. Really want to see what the hell Robot going to do. That's the person I'm really looking forward to moving forward, bro. And nigga Robot.
Definitely. But we start the episode off with Titan, which is the black supervillain that we were just talking about.
Anti-hero.
He was the first villain we seen, right, in episode 1 that the Guardians of the Globe fought. I know they fought the twins.
They fought the twins. They fought the twins first, and then it was
wasn't
him,
in that scene. Okay,
he was in there. Yeah, he was around that. Yep.
Okay, cool. So we see him finally reappearing in the show again, and he raids a mob dealer's warehouse, and it's kind of a lot of back and forth scenes. It was kind of hard to keep up, like taking notes, because they'll show him, and then they'll go between Amber and Mark and everything. But
yeah,
just the general first few moments of the episode, you see Titan. He's going to different areas, raiding mob houses, burning apartments and stuff like that, and really trying to get some money. He's trying to get money and resources, and the whole time I'm like, what is he doing all this for? And then, like I said, you see Amber is being pissed at Mark with being late for their dates and stuff, and you kind of noticing that he's gonna have to eventually tell her what's going on, but he's very hesitant. So throughout the first 5 minutes, that's really the big plot points of what's going on. So what was going through your mind?
The one thing I noticed about Titan was that even though he was raiding all these warehouses, he really didn't want to harm a lot of people. He just wanted to get the mission done and then leave. Like, even when he tore down like somebody's apartment or something like that, because he tried to get, I forgot what he tried to get out of the apartments. And he ended up giving the people whose apartment building it was, he ended up giving them some money, like, here, y'all can stay at such and such place until this got rebuilt, or y'all can move in somewhere else. So that was one thing I really noticed, that he really didn't want to harm people unless you were like in his way. He really just wanted to get the mission done, and then that was his like motto or his MO. So that was one thing I noticed, and that was really interesting to me. Like, why is he just not trying to harm people? Like, he's a super villain. But you seen like throughout the episode, like I get more of an anti-hero vibe. Even though we see him double cross Mark at the end, I still get anti-hero vibe because he was getting fucked over at first. We end up figuring out that Machine Head was fucking him over. So it's just like, I like seeing the black man on top, even though he double crossed Mark. In somebody's story, he was a hero. In another nigga's story, he's a villain. So he's an anti-hero.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'll definitely co-sign that anti-hero title. I'll definitely give him that, because I wasn't really surprised to see him have like a soft side or have a human side to his villain personality, because I love when they tap into villains like that. I mean, it's good to have villains that are just villains that just want to take over the world, that are just pure evil, but having villains that have a reasonable goal, like, I love villains like that, because you see, like, later in the episode, we find out he has a family and stuff like that. So it was touching to see that, wow, like, he's not doing this just to do it. He's doing it because he has to provide for his family, and this is the only means he's able to do it. So I thought it was cool. I totally agree. I thought it was cool to see that he has another side to him.
Because he was always going to be in the cycle of working for Machine Head, so he can never really get out of the cycle that he was in. So he had to do the master plan that he did, or he would have been continuing to work for Machine Head. Machine Head would have been continuing to fuck him over. So he had to do what he did to get out of that. And we see that this nigga was running the company by the end of this shit. So exactly. I'm like, that was quick as fuck. And that nigga smart as hell. I'm like, bro, I could have never predicted that, my nigga. I could have never predicted that.
Me neither.
Did all that, and now he headed this shit. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And then he ends up working with Isotope. I'm like, this nigga had all of this shit planned out.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't the fact that he double crossed Mark. Like, that part didn't surprise me at all. It was the fact, like you said, he ended up like running everything in the end and stuff like that. So that was the shit that got me. And we get to the next scene where Titan steals a tech chip, and I was wondering what the hell he was stealing it for, until we get to the next scene where Machine Head is finally introduced, and Titan brings him the chip, and Machine Head tells him that he has no choice but to continue to work for him, because he notices that he's too valuable of an asset. And one thing I wanted to point out about Machine Head, the chip that he gave him, I thought it was going to play a huge part going down later into the episode, but he kind of had like some Doctor Strange shit, but in a technology way.
Yeah, he can see.
He could like see into the future. He could predict all tons of possibilities. That's kind of why he knew they were gonna like set him up in the end of the episode, even though he didn't predict the way shit was gonna end up technically. But I thought that was very interesting. But the fact that Machine Head is dead now and gone, so
he's not dead. He went to jail.
Oh, he went to jail? I don't know why I thought he died.
Machine Head went to jail. Yeah. That's why. That's how Titan got it.
It was a lot that happened.
Yeah, bro. It was so much that happened at the end, bro. I love this episode. It was so much that happened at the end, my nigga.
My bad, y'all. He went to jail.
Yeah, but bro, that shit was so thugged out when he had walked into the I I forgot what type of building it was to get the chip or whatever. And he was like, "Hey, I ain't trying to hurt none of y'all. If y'all want to keep y'all job, just shoot up in the air and nobody gonna get hurt." That nigga got the chip. Them nigga walked out and them niggas had said, that nigga shot right out the sky. I was like, that's some thug shit. You ain't even got to touch nobody. And I was like, that nigga still got what he needed to get. I was like, that's some thug shit.
That man said, your life really worth a 9 to 5. I was like,
he said that minimum wage is really worth it. Let me shoot that bitch up in the air.
just go home to your family at the end of the day.
Hell yeah.
I thought it was crazy because when Machine Head told Titan, look, you're too valuable for me to just give you up. You're more than just muscle at this point. Like, you can get the jobs done quickly and effectively, like, and you're not expensive. You ain't got too much damage to you, you know? So I feel like, damn, like, how is he going to get out of this? You know? So we see that later in the episode. But at that moment, I was real confused on what he was going to do. I thought he was going to team up with Mark, which he kind of did, but in a double cross way. So
yeah, and his superpower is dope, man. How he just turns into rock and shit. That shit is fire. And he can pick. It's not like some Hulk shit where he can where he has to be the Hulk until like he calms down. It's some shit like he can actually control. Like he can control and turn into like the Rock figure or whatever, and then he can turn back into like the black dude. Like I fuck with his power. Like he's really indestructible, really. Like even when he was getting his ass beat by the tiger dude by the end, like he was getting his ass beat, but he was still like good and able to walk away. It's like Mark was getting his ass beat and he was down for the count, but boy was ready to walk away. And that's the one question I had about this episode. Who ended up buying the tiger shark? Was it Machine Head or was it Titan who bought the not the shark, but the tiger into this realm? Like who bought him? Who purchased him? Because I don't think it was Machine Head. Because was it Titan? Titan had this all planned out.
I feel like it was Machine Head. I feel like it was Machine Head.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, it could have been Machine, because Machine Head expected them niggas to come. But then I'm like, damn, Titan ended up spinning this shit real quick, my nigga. Like, because Titan couldn't have expected the all of those villains to come into the picture. Like, he couldn't have expected that. So I'm like, did he ended up buying them or was it Machine Head? Like, that was some shit I kept going back and forth on. And I still really don't have an answer. Like, I don't just go with Machine Head for now. But I wouldn't be surprised if next episode we'll find out like that was Titan who did that the whole time, and this was a huge ass master plan. But
then we get to
what if Isotope was the one who bought him? What if Isotope?
Nah, because Titan bought out Isotope from Machine Head. But
that's what I'm saying. Maybe I wonder if Isotope has something to do with it, bro. Even obviously he has something to do with it. But did he have something to do with buying the villains from Machine Head?
Possibly.
Like he was the one to influence it to happen. Like he was listening to Titan, and Titan was like, yeah, get these villains to come in to destroy Mark and to destroy everybody. But you know what I'm saying? Like influence Machine Head to go through it. And like we need his help because he has all the money right now and he can actually afford it. So like influence Machine Head so this can all go down and then I can end up on top. Because like his master plan, like that shit was a little too clean to not have some type of influence on Machine Head's side. You feel what I'm saying? So it was so much going on.
I feel you. We get to the next scene where what happened after that. Mark comes to Amber's house late for dinner. He was supposed to meet his mom, and he's like 2 hours late.
Crazy.
She starts telling Mark she does not feel important to him, and Mark really just. Again, like we said, Mark is in a situation where, bro, you gotta tell her, but he's still very, very hesitant. And he stuck. What Eve told Mark really stuck with him. And I think that's why he's so nervous on telling her, because Eve told him, look, if you plan on telling her, like, you better be for sure, like, you better love her. You better really care about her. Because once you tell somebody who you are, that's it. They know. Like, there is no going back from that. So I get why he's hesitant, but Amber done proved to you that she worth knowing the shit by now. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with him. He need to tell her.
Yeah. But I still feel like it's still going to be an Eve love interest down the line. Because like I said, we've already seen the connection. And she understands that nigga's what he's going through with his superhero abilities. So they're like on the same kind of level and shit. Even though I feel like Amber would be better because she can actually hold him down and give him a perspective that's not a superhero. I feel like he's going to eventually mess with Eve.
I don't know. I don't see it happening because Eve knows how he feels about Amber. And she went through what she went through with Rex. So she wouldn't want a situation like that to happen to Amber because it just happened to her. Like, I wouldn't want her.
No, Rex
Martin
was cheating though, right? Mark a good dude.
But that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't want it to be a situation where she tried to come up on Mark or Mark tried to come up on her, and then they both end up like hurting Amber in the situation due to a temporary moment. I don't feel like Eve would do no shit like that because it just happened to her. Like, she just got cheated on, so she wouldn't let Mark do that with her to hurt Amber. I don't see it happening. I really don't.
It's gonna happen. I don't think it happens this season. I don't think it happens as quick as I thought. It could be a season down the line, but it's going to happen. Like, maybe he doesn't tell her, or even if he does tell her, maybe they end up breaking up, and then he goes out with Eve because it's not going to be considered cheating if they break up. And then he just moves on to Eve after that, somebody who understands the lifestyle. But he's definitely going to end up with Eve, my nigga. It's going to happen by sometime. Like, I don't see Amber just working out all the way into the end. Like, nah, Amber. I don't see her being okay. Let me say this: she's not going to be the Debbie in his life. Is what I will say.
I rock with Amber too heavy. I feel like
I
Amber's gonna be there,
but I know how they're gonna do the black girl. And something I just realized about Invincible, he's the first Asian American superhero ever. That's something I just seen about it. I did not know that. We didn't say that last week, but he is the first Asian American superhero. So definitely shout out to the Asians.
Definitely. Cause I honestly have never seen one until now. So
because I think Shang-Chi would be next.
It's not stereotypical either. It ain't no kung fu type shit or nothing like that.
Facts.
A non-stereotypical Asian American superhero. I'm loving it. And we get to what was seen after that. We realize Titan has a family to provide for. He has a daughter that's sick. This also reminds me of Spider-Man. This reminds me of Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire when Sandman had a daughter and his daughter was sick. So I was like, wow, this is like kind of biting off of that in a sense, just humanizing the villain even more to have you sympathize with him. So I thought that was cool to see that he has a family. And then Debbie finds Darkblood's notebook as she's going through her things, and she's finding out the truth. She's seeing all the notes that Darkblood left behind, and she sees a note that says costume, and it has like a circle around it and DNA and all that stuff next to it. So that's when she begins looking for Omni-Man's costume, because in the episode where he killed the Guardians of the Globe, he was real forceful in asking back for his costume. So I was just like, yep, she finna find out what my dog done did. And he was stupid as hell. This man hid it on the top shelf in the house.
Stupid as hell, my nigga.
Sense. No, you can fly to Italy in 5 minutes. You can fly to Italy in 5 minutes, but you chose to hide your murderous costume on the top shelf in the house. Like, that made no sense to me.
That made no sense. Like, he could have just burnt it. Like, just make it simple, my nigga. Just burn the shit, no evidence, and we good. You hide his bloody clothes on top of the shelf. Like, what the fuck? Like, bro, Debbie's smart as hell. Because ain't too many people really looking up there. That shit was like above like the screen door or whatever to go outside. Like, ain't too many people looking up there. But still, you should have like got rid of the evidence, my nigga. The fact that it's still in your house is just like, for what?
But crazy. the reason she looked is because she noticed the air conditioner sounded different. It sounded like there was a blockage in it in the air conditioner, because it wasn't flowing the way it usually flowed. And that's when she looked up on top of the shelf to like what's blocking the air conditioner, and she seen that it was the suit. So I was like, yeah, she is smart. She peeping shit that people normally don't look for. And then we get to the next scene. Eve's parents want her to stay with Rex, and they don't care about what she wants. Her daddy damn near called her a bitch. And I'm like, bro,
she did. That's crazy.
I'm like, bro, like, they don't care that he cheated on her. They don't care about none of it. They looking at her like, you're a woman at the end of the day. Yeah, you're a superhero, but you need a man still to protect you at the end of the day. And it don't matter if he's cheating on you or not. He's still a nice person. You just need to stay with him. I'm like, damn, they don't care about their daughter feelings at all whatsoever. That shit hurt me. I ain't gonna lie.
It was just the fact that Rex was a superhero and like he can like compare and like go along with her. If she was just a regular human, I feel like they would like, move on and be like, you're not in danger of being a regular person. But the fact that she's a superhero, Rex is a superhero who can explode and all that bullshit, they like, stay with this nigga. We know you're gonna be safe in his hands. Like, even though it was a bullshit reason, it was just like, I understand it, because who else is protecting you other than Rex at this point, because you just really out here by yourself. They don't want her out here by herself. They want her with somebody at least.
Her superpowers are way better than Rex. They just looking at it from a standpoint of he's a man, like, and that's what I didn't like. They're completely ignoring the fact that she can literally bend reality at her will to a certain extent. And I'm like, that's way cooler than exploding shit. Like, come on, bro. I'm like, y'all really just saying that because she a woman at the end of the day. Like, that pissed me off. And we get to the next scene where Invincible and Titan meet. Titan sets up like a little Invincible sign on top of a building, and they meet up, and Mark doesn't get what regular people go through. You're a white boy from the suburbs, and you got superpowers. So, well, Asian. You're Asian white in the suburbs, and you got superpowers. So you're really not seeing what the regular day-to-day people go through. And Titan is trying to open his eyes. That machine head is keeping the inner city people oppressed and want to take him, and he wants to take him down. And he's telling them, look, Mark, you need to pay attention. These inner city people, like, there's cocaine being smuggled. There's drugs being smuggled. Like, there's poverty around in these areas, like to the black people and to some of the white people.
Insurance fraud. That's nigga was burning buildings on purpose.
And everything. I'm like, bro, people losing their homes, like drugs are being brought into the community. And Mark was really kind of like having that attitude of, okay, like, what do I do? And I'm like, bro, what? Bro, you really giving me white privilege vibes. And I was getting real mad at Mark. He was pissing me off.
That nigga Mark said, I'm more big picture. I'm more big picture things.
I'm
more
like,
planet.
Bro,
more planet. That's how I blame that on his pops though. His pops got him in that mentality that, oh, you just got to worry about what's going on out there. Don't worry about what's going on here. Just save the planet. Like, don't worry about the day-to-day neighborhood Spider-Man type shit. Do the planet. Save the planet and shit. And it's just like, I understand his mentality and shit. Like, he never experienced it. Like you say, he's from the suburbs. Like, yeah, nigga don't know about that.
That it made me mad though, because it's like, you can't look at the big picture and think that ignoring shit like that is okay. That's part of the big picture. Like, so how are you going to protect the world, but you know the communities in the world are kind of going to shit? Like, it doesn't make sense. So I don't know.
But without Mark and his big picture saving, y'all wouldn't even have this neighborhood trouble if I let this asteroid come in and kill the earth or whatever. Like, y'all wouldn't even have this. So I got to worry about what's going on out there, and that's how his mind was.
I don't know. I feel like I see where his mind is. It just definitely goes hand in hand, in my opinion.
Oh no, it was fucked up for sure. Because I think that's what he's going to become. I think he's going to become like more of a neighborhood, and I would like that too. Him to become more of a neighborhood Static Shock type dude. And this villain Titan really reminded me of somebody from Static Shock. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if I see him in a Static Shock episode or something like that. He really reminded me of like a meta human. For real.
Definitely. And we go to the next scene right after this. Mark tells his parents about Titan, and Omni-Man is sounding more like a villain every episode now. And he feels certain crimes are beneath them to fight. And he literally told Mark that. He was like, that's beneath you. Like, don't even worry about those people and stuff like that. And Debbie is really looking at him like, are you like really just finna forget everything I taught you? Like, when you came here, like, don't ever. And she told Mark, don't ever feel like people or certain crimes are beneath you. When you're a hero, every crime matters. So don't make it look like, oh, I don't relate to these people, or these people are poor, so I don't need to save them. No, you have a responsibility to everyone when you get superpowers.
Facts.
Yes, and
Debbie is the fact that Debbie was looking at that nigga Omni Man the whole dinner, she was like looking at that nigga like, you ain't shit. You ain't shit.
For real.
Why are you talking to my son? You killing all these Guardians of the Globe. You ain't shit. You trying to give my son lessons. I don't want him to get lessons from you.
And then we get to the next, speaking of the Guardians of the Globe, we get to the next scene, and the Guardians of the Globe do not know how to be a team. And we notice that Black Samson is the true leader of this team, you know, and it seems like everybody else is just acting like a bunch of immature super kids, because Rexplode, he mouths off to everyone. He doesn't care. And then Monster Girl, she's kind of like a female version of him. And when they agree on shit, you're definitely not going to get through to them. I always forget the shrinking girl name. Damn, what's her name? I can't remember her name, but she's kind of like a go with the flow. If everybody else doesn't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. And who else? Who else was it? I think that was it.
Robot in the Black Samson. Yeah.
I thought it was somebody else too. But yeah, everybody is just like, we don't care. As long as we're saving the day, that's all that matters. Duplicate. That's what it was, duplicate. But Black Samson is trying to let them look like we lost more lives today, or we hurt more lives than we saved. Yeah, we stopped the bad guy at the end of the day, but the goal should be to save people. Y'all all are individually just trying to look cool while y'all saving the day and not caring about shit. They literally let a bus full of people just crash into a wall. And I'm like, bro, what?
That shit killed me, bro.
I'm like, y'all tripping. That shit was crazy. I'm like, bro, superheroes, they don't be caring, bro. You got to have a leader. And Robot, he look like he don't want to lead.
Robot don't give a fuck because Robot got bigger plans, like nigga. Like he don't give a fuck about none of that shit that they
He's starting to not care no more. He like, hey, we say today they alive at the end of the day. So.
Yeah. I'm trying to get this body together over here. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me.
Exactly. And Mark and Eve talk about their troubles, and Amber vents to Eve about Mark once he dips again. Like he just leaves the both of them again in the middle of a conversation. And Eve is trying to let Amber know that, hey, Mark really does like you. Like he just really be busy as fuck. She was gonna tell her low key, but she leaving that up to Mark to do. But she notices that Amber is pissed the fuck off.
Yeah, understandable, but it's just like it's nothing that I can do. Like he has superhero shit to do. Like I can't tell him to stop. You feel what I'm saying? I'm talking about Eve. Like Eve can't tell him like stop. Like you have a girl that loves you and shit. Like I know, but superhero, like save the world. I got other shit that I can do, bro. Like that's why I said it's so hard. Even though he expected this, and that's what you said last episode, it's still tough to balance this shit, bro. It's still tough as fuck.
But Eve does agree to help Amber out later in the episode at a food
But
drive.
he really didn't have to do what he had to do in that scene, because didn't he go see Titan in that scene?
Exactly.
Wasn't that scene he really didn't have to go out there. He didn't have to leave to go see Titan.
But he doesn't know how to balance. Like he thinking he got to go as soon as he get a call every single time. And I'm like, bro, like you can balance the shit. It's okay. Like, it's okay to tell certain people no.
But with Titan just showed him around the community. So it's like you can't really turn him down after he showed you all the wrong that happened in the community. So I guess he did have to go because he felt like he still was doing the right thing, especially after what his mom said. So he's like, I still got to save the, that community, because not Invincible, but Titan already told me what the deal was. So I had to do what I had to do. But I thought he was going to be back in time to get over Eve and do that little.
Oh, I knew he wasn't.
To get up and do that. What did she do? The homeless shelter thing.
She worked at the wellness center that Titan takes his daughter to. Yeah. And she serves food there and all that stuff. And then what happened after that? Mark and Titan devise a plan on how they're going to get into Machine Head's building and finally take him down. And the original Mauler twin successfully makes his new clone, and Robot pops up and asks for their DNA. So we're finally getting the finishing touches on what Robot is gonna make with his new body. So I was very interested to see that, because I don't know how the body is gonna look.
Or did he ask for how did they do the cloning? I think he wants to know how they do actually make bodies. I think that's what he went up and asked him.
He was just asking, why does he make the clone the way that he makes the clone? Like, because the Mauler twin, like the original, he purposely makes the twin with the mindset of he's the original. Yeah,
because they do that little mind shit. They put the memories in his head. Yeah.
And that's why Robot was asking. He was like, seriously, like, why do you do that? Like, what's the purpose of you making the clone feel like he's the original? Like that never made sense. I feel like that never made sense to me either. I'm like, wouldn't you want the clone?
Because you don't have to catch them up on things. Like they already know what the situation is because they have your memory. So just like with Robot, he wouldn't even know who Robot is if Robot walked in. Like, who is this nigga? Like, why is he here? Like you fight against somebody you don't know, but since he already has the memories, he already knows what's going on, what their plan is. Because I don't know what Marauder's plan is, but to work with Robot or whatever, like he already knows that, so he doesn't have to explain and catch him up on shit. I think that's what he does. Doesn't have to catch him up.
I don't know. I feel like you you can select and choose what you want him to remember. Like that's why I said like you don't have to put all the memories into him to make him feel like he's the original. I feel like you can put what you need in his head to get him to understand, okay, you're my clone and these are the people you're not supposed to like. I feel like that's all you got.
He likes it. I think he truly likes the back and forth.
But that's what I'm saying though. I feel like that's stupid. I don't know.
It is, but he truly likes the back and forth. He enjoys it.
But I'm interested to see what Robot's body is going to look like, the new creature form that he's making, because right now it's just a blob, but you got Monster Girl's DNA, you got Rexplod's DNA, and you're gonna get it from the Marauder twins. So it's like, what the hell is this shit gonna look like?
He's gonna have a crazy ass body form. I think that's all he's trying to do, is just get a superhuman body form. That's all he wants, and just put his brain in there. So mixing the body together with their DNA, superhuman form. He gonna be big as hell because the Marauder twins exploded with shit, and then you got Monster Girl's ability. I wonder if since he has Monster Girl's ability, every time that he pops out and becomes a superhuman, will he go back in age, or does he have something that will counteract that curse about Monster Girl?
I know why he has her DNA. He's going to, I'm predicting this right now. When he makes the body, he's going to use Monster Girl's DNA to take her regeneration cells, and he's going to fix it to where he won't get younger, but he can regenerate when I say regeneration cells, I mean like as a healing faster technique. I feel like that's what he's getting her cells for, because if you notice, when like she had got like her head cracked and split as the monster, when she turned back into the girl, she got back younger, of course, but she wasn't hurt to the extent that the monster form was hurt. So I feel like he's gonna use that to his advantage. So he's gonna manipulate the cells to where it's like, okay, if I get shot and my arm goes off, like it'll regenerate back, and it'll be even fresher than it was before you shot it off, because he's gonna have Monster Girl's DNA. Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
Regeneration. I'm loving it. And then we get to around the final moments of the show. Titan and Invincible breaking Machine Head's place. And Machine Head can look into quantum probabilities similar to Doctor Strange, like we said. And he has supervillain henchmen. And he hired like 4 or 5 different supervillains to help him out. Yeah.
All of them niggas was beating ass.
and they heavy hitters too. Like I'm thinking, okay, it's probably gonna be like 1 or 2 of them that's for real, and then the other one's gonna be manageable. No, they all can beat your ass. And I'm like, bro, what? This shit is crazy. I'm like, bro, Mark gotta have another moment where he like, he just goes fucking crazy. Yeah. Like Mark has to have another moment like that, and he did. Low key, he had one moment like that.
He did because he ended up handling all of the other villains, because I forgot who it was. I don't forget who the villains were, but I just remember that the tiger dude, like he was the one who withstood all of what Mark was doing, and he was still standing tall. Like, nigga, that shit didn't even touch me. Nigga, like, what you hit me, nigga? Like, I don't feel anything from that shit. He was still being that nigga Mark ass. So it's just like that tiger nigga. He's gonna come back, and I want to see more of his character, because that nigga is a beast. And what country is he from? Like, what planet is he from? Like, that nigga. I'm about to say
he's from a different planet. I think he's from a different dimension. Forget a planet.
He could be from a different dimension. That would make sense too. That make more sense. Like, he could be from like a portal, just like the aliens were from, like a different dimension type shit like that. And that's where they came from. That nigga was a beast, bro. That nigga was knocking nigga. He was knocking that nigga Titan out, stomping on that nigga Mark and shit. I was like, this nigga here don't give a fuck. He was calling them niggas pussy while doing it. I was like, this nigga here crazy, bro. This nigga here crazy, bro. Crazy. Bro. The Guardians of the Globe literally came in to save the day, and he still beat all of their by himself.
Damn near killed some of them.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, bro. Because somebody did get killed. Somebody got killed, and somebody from the Guardians of the Globe.
Who got killed?
Samson ended up got killed, didn't he?
Black Samson. I think it was Black Samson that got killed.
Yeah. So that nigga was killing everybody. Because then Black Samson took off his armor, didn't he? I think he took off his armor and shit.
His armor came off.
And he was trying to do something, his last stand or whatever. But that nigga Tiger just beat that nigga ass real easy. I think he just hit that nigga and he was down for the count. I was like, you did that for what? Like, you could have ran away. Like, you were done. You had no armor. Because he has no powers, does he? Does he have powers? I don't think he has
Nah,
powers.
Rex Splode kept making fun of him for that the entire episode.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't got powers, but you take off your armor and then run into this nigga who's beating everybody ass.
But I think his armor, something happened to his armor, so he just said fuck it and took the rest of it off because it was like it ain't finna work no more, so I might as well take it off.
I'm gonna get my ass beat regardless. So I might as well go out yeah.
Go out in human form. Like a
facts. Facts. But everybody was getting their ass beat. Monster Girl, damn, Rex Splode. I don't even think that nigga stood a chance. Duplicate. He was ripping apart all the duplicate other people. I was like, yeah, this nigga different. This nigga's different, bro. and that's a head up I want to see in the future. In the next season or whenever we see this dude again, that's the head up I want to see. I know we're gonna see Omni Man and Invincible again, but this dude, how he look? Is he crazier than Omni Man? I don't think he can fly. He doesn't have those type of abilities. But this nigga wasn't affected by any hit, bro. This nigga was still straight after all that.
I ain't gonna lie. I feel like Omni Man could put up a good fight against him. I wouldn't be surprised if he beat Omni Man. But I feel like Omni Man, just because he has the experience and he's stronger and better than Mark. But I don't know. I feel like it'll be a good fight. He could definitely beat him.
Because this Tiger dude, like what is he? I keep saying Tiger dude. I don't know what his name is or what.
I forgot what his name was. I really did.
Yeah, but Tiger dude versus Omni Man in a one-on-one, that shit will be a back and forth battle. Omni Man and this Tiger dude. What I've seen, he took the whole Guardians of the Globe, which is the same shit Omni Man did earlier in the fucking season. So I'm like, they both killed the Guardians of the Globe, so they're on the same level at this point. But he just can't. He doesn't have those type of abilities. Like he can't fly and all that other bullshit. But like head up, fighting, like my nigga, like that nigga tough. He's tough, bro. He's tough
for real. And while all this is happening, Eve gets the call about Mark because we end up seeing, like you just said, the Tiger dude. Mark organs damn near about to fall out. The way he just beating into this nigga. He's hammering them. He's stomping them in like guts and all that. It looked like it's about to come out of Mark. And I'm like, bro, Mark finna die this early into the season. Like, how the hell you finna have Invincible and Invincible not in the show?
Real
Invincible.
I don't know. Real Invincible.
I was real scared for Mark. I'm like, bro, what's finna happen? And then Tiger dude left out like literally as soon as he noticed like he won, basically he just left back. He said this shit ain't even worth my time.
That's what I was just about to say. He said y'all niggas ain't even worth my time. My nigga, like I beat all your ass in like 10 minutes. Like let me go home. Like this ain't even worth my time. I thought humans were something. I thought the earthlings were something, and y'all niggas ain't shit. That shit was crazy. That shit was crazy.
And when Eve gets the call, she lets Amber know, look, Mark really does love you, because Amber is pissed off that Mark did not show up, because Eve showed up to help her at the wellness center, but Mark didn't. But Eve lets her know he loves you. He cares about you. It's just he has a lot of shit that he's obligated to do, and he's not able to be with you as much as he wants to. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad Eve said that, because if Eve just left and ain't say shit, Amber was probably finna cut Mark all the way
off. Facts. I definitely agree.
Eve came in the clutch. I loved it.
She did.
And then we get to the backstabbing part of the episode.
No, talk about that nigga Omni Man and how Omni Man was just watching over this nigga the whole time. I'm like, hell no.
That's all I was gonna say. We're getting to the backstabbing part of the episode with the final two characters. We see Omni Man is watching all of this happen. He watched the entire fight go down. He watched his son literally damn near die, and a lot of mixed feelings. I understood why Omni-Man was watching, because we've been talking about Omni-Man's plan to rule the world, and he feels like humans just can't. He feels like humans are taking advantage of the opportunity that they have to make the world a better place, and they're not doing it. And he feels like Vulturemites can do better, so he wants to rule the world. But I feel he let Mark get his ass beat to the extent that he did, because one, he knows Mark can't die because he's have Vulturemite. And we see at the end of the episode, after the post-credit scene, where they're testing the blood. The GRC is the GDA is testing the blood, and they're noticing that Vulturemite blood, you can't kill it. Like, you can't kill the cells. So Mark wasn't gonna die regardless. But Omni-Man just wanted Mark to get that full look at you can't trust anybody. Like, he tried to tell him about Titan, tried to tell him, like, look, you can't trust this dude. But he let Mark have that near-death experience because, one, to prove a point, and two, I feel like proving this point is going to get him to try to persuade Mark to see more into what he was talking about on how you don't need to worry about these crimes. You only need to worry about the big shit. And I feel Omni-Man is going to try to persuade Mark to rule the world with him as opposed to trying to kill him. Because remember, we thought he was going to try and kill Mark, and he was testing to see how strong Mark was to kill him. Nah, I feel like now he going to try and get his son on his side, because if you got Omni-Man and Invincible, you ain't beating that shit, bro. You're not. And I feel like Robot's still going to pair with him. I feel like Robot's still going to pair with Omni-Man too.
And that's why I don't think Mark will end up rocking with his dad, because he's gonna be like, Dad, you trying to take over the world type shit. Like, even though you try to prove your point, I'm not rocking with that. Like, I'm not going with that. So that's why I still think the robot theory can still come true. I think he can still pair with Robot, but I think Mark is still going to pair with everybody else. And this is like, nah, me and my dad gotta go head up, because I don't want this nigga taking over the world. Like, I don't like the way his mentality going. Like, I don't agree with your views, even though he is trying to get Mark on his side. I don't like the views of his father, bro. Act the fuck off. So yeah, crazy. Like I said, he almost let his son die, even though they cannot die and the Vulture cannot die. You see that, bro? And one thing I love about this show, they are so fucking graphic. They are so graphic with everything they do, bro. Blood splattering everywhere. Niggas getting their heads squeezed, organs popping out of their damn bodies. This show is so great, bro. This shit is so graphic. I love this show, bro. Really love this show.
I do too. What do you feel is going to? Well, instead of asking that, I'll just ask what your predictions are for next episode.
Episode 6. Debbie is definitely going to find out about Omni-Man. That's definitely going to happen. Do I want to predict this for next episode? Omni-Man kills Debbie. Do I want to say that for next episode? Oh, that's some end of the season shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that for later. I'm gonna say that for the end of the season. That don't happen next episode, but she does find out about Omni-Man and all his bullshit, and she gonna confront him about it though. She gonna confront him about it. Obviously we already know my boy gonna be all right, Mark, and I think he will tell Amber that he is a hero, because we see in the previews that he told his best friend. So I'm like, you can tell your best friend, you can trust Amber. She good people like that. And I think we'll see Adam Eve and Invincible back in pairs again. Like, I think they're going to be like running mates and back to doing their thing again. And I think her parents will be okay with her running with Mark, because they like, oh, he's a dude, like he's invincible. Like, okay, I feel like you're safe with him. So they'll be more accepting to let her live back under their roof and shit like that.
True. I feel like, what do I feel like is gonna happen? The bond with Titan and Mark is just gone now since he double crossed them. So I feel like Titan they're gonna have to kill Titan next episode. I feel like Titan will die.
Can you kill him?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can.
But the thing with Titan is,
you can beat the rock off him.
Whoa!
You could literally beat the rock off him.
Pause. Don't say it again. Don't say it again. I said pause for a reason, but I forgot about Titan. But I like his character so much that I want him to stick around and be like the head dude in charge. Like, even though he fucked over Mark, I still like his character. I want him to be on top because we see him where he came from. So it's like you came from the bottom to the top. Even though you had to, you know what I'm saying, you hurt hella people to get to where you got to. I still like the black man in charge shit. He came from the bottom to the top. I like that shit. I want him to stay up there.
I ain't gonna like it now because you're black. You're gonna be a black man doing literally the same thing that the machine dude was doing. Like, you're gonna be destroying the community. You're going to be doing the same shit. It's just your family is okay now, so you don't care. So I can't support that. Yeah. Okay, Franklin Saint. Okay. Franklin.
Facts. We root for all Franklins, man. We root for all versions of Franklin.
I'm predicting that Titan will either go to jail or die next episode. I predict what else? I predict Debbie will find the truth and her and Omni-Man will split next episode and Omni-Man will no longer return home. So Mark and Debbie are both gonna find out what the hell happened. And 3,
and that's going to be another reason why he's not going to fuck with Omni-Man. Like, you killed the Guardians of the Globe? Like, no, I'm not getting on your side.
Yeah.
That's another reason too. Like, yeah.
And 3rd, Robot will complete building his body. So those are my 3 things. Titan will either go to jail or die. Omni-Man will split with the family and he'll no longer be close with Debbie or Mark. And what I just said, Robot will finish building his body. Those are my 3 predictions.
All right, bro. You can hit him with the social media.
You can follow us on Twitter at QE Podcast 1. You can follow us on Instagram at QANDE Podcast. You can follow and like our Facebook page. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the notification bell so you can see anytime that we drop new episodes. And our email is QANDEpodcast@gmail.com for any business inquiries, questions, or concerns.
Yes, and subscribe to all of our podcast platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And wherever you listen to podcasts, we are there. So definitely check us out. Subscribe to the YouTube Q and sign E podcast and subscribe to my YouTube. Just type in Quincy Hicks into the search bar and definitely subscribe. We appreciate you guys for listening. We will be back with episode 6 and we out. Peace.